Morning. Happy Monday to everybody. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. So let's get things started. So the first thing is let's go to our word of the day. Our word of the day is adroit. Adroit, clever or skillful in using the hands or mind. His adroit organization of the retreat left no room for error. So there we have our word of the day. Share the screen. Go to S&P 500 heat map. How we're looking today. Tech is bouncing back. Super microcomputer joined the S&P 500 today, and there was some selling. What people have to do, they have to sell the S&P 500's small cap and then buy it on the S&P 500. And sometimes there's more issues sold on the small cap. And so that's kind of what happened with super microcomputer. But here things are mostly up. Oil is up. So that is the story. Google has bounced on some news about Apple. So, and Tesla is up big, up 6% on an increase in the Y model price increase in Europe. So there we go. And let's take a look. One of my apps is not up today. I'm just going to get it in proper viewing mode. For some reason, I don't see it here, but let me check one more time, and there it is. Here's our annuity. You never lose money in this annuity. Goes up, and goes up. And as you can see, it beats index investing by about 5%. If you want to learn more about that and secure your gains in case of a market downturn, just let me know. Some of the annuities are offering between 30 to 45% bonuses on any new money coming in as well. So let's go to our screens. This is super microcomputer. I'm going to stop the video so you just can see the screen. And there, pull back to the 20, actually went down below the 20-day moving average. I had to sell because my account was over leveraged. So I did do a spread, made a little bit of money on the spread when it was a 970. I put on the 980, 990 spread, and then I took my profits on that. So that's the story with super microcomputer. Let's look at the US dollar index. It's moving up, keeps moving up. It's above 28 now. See what happened to silver. Said you should take your profits right here. Silver is pulling back. Gold, it's pretty flat. And take a look at Ethereum is pulling back. It has sliced right through the 20-day moving average. We'll see if it gets to the 50. And Bitcoin is pulling back as well. Not as severe. We'll see if it stays above the 20-day moving average or it pulls back. Copper. Arrow Copper is pulling back. Southern Copper is pulling back. FCX is pulling back. Tried to move higher and is pulling back. Vale is actually bouncing. Go figure. Rio try to bounce, and BHP a gap up, and it's right on the low right now. So let's take a look at our bond yields. Bond yields keep moving on up. It's going to put some pressure on small caps. And we got to move up on the 20-year yield as well. The VIX is pulling back. I think we said 13. We had two numbers here, 1377 and 1588 are our target for this week. S&P 500 gaps up 0.82%. The equal weight S&P bounces off the 20-day moving average. The NASDAQ up slightly. And the equal weight is up 1%. IWM is pulling back on that jump on the bond yields. And the Dow Jones is up 0.4%. So there we have it. We can go to our screens. So there's 8 items. The gap is up today. Up pretty strong, in fact. Look at the move. You had a strong move up here into the buy zone, kind of plateaued, and now it is 2 days in a row. It's moving up. It's up a little over 4%. And here's Google up, and now it's on its low for the day, up 4.26, up 4.36 on the other Google. And Root, look at this thing. It's up another 11% today. This is just amazing. And look at all this institutional buying up here with all the ants, making it crawl up even further. VRT, Vertiv. Got one ant over here. I'm sad that I've sold this now. Yeah, we sold it, I believe, right over here, 68. Quick Logic. Programmable system on a chip. Broke out here at $15.99 and has never looked, well, it's looked back a little bit. Bounced off the 10-day moving average here, but it has just been going up. It's up another 12% today. Turtle Beach Audio Technologies. It's up strong. Their earnings are supposed to be up 56% next year. Big gap up on their earnings. They were up 370%. That'll get anybody's attention. App Loving just when I put on short calls, it breaks out of this area. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those $65 short calls, but I bought it at 55 and it's up to 65. And now it's up to 68, up nearly 9% for the day. And that is all in our up 3%, 50% increase in volume. What's up 5%, 100% increase in volume. I'm sure it's some of the same characters. And biopharma, big breakout of this little consolidation. And it is moving on up another 3% today. DXP Enterprises, pumps, bearings. Oh, look at that move. That is quite a move. It's up another 6.55% today. Impressa Distribuild, electricity and exclusive in the northwestern zone. This is an ADR. So it is bouncing off of the 200-day moving average up over 12, pretty close to 12%. See if we can move this up a little bit. Hashi Corporation, gap up and move higher. Cloud infrastructure. We had this kind of a tight range here. It had one day down on the earnings, up 171%. And then the next day, people reconsidered. Maybe they listened to the conference call and it's been trading tightly. And now we got a big move up today. Look at all the blue volume. Here we've seen before, Nuve, Canadian company, global electronic payment platform. It is taking off of the rocket pad here, up 33%. Wow. See what else we got here. Pampa Energy, Argentine company engaged in generation and transmission of energy. It's got a strong move up, nearly 8% today. We've got QuickLogic we looked at earlier. Squarespace, website building platform. Had a little bit of consolidation and now it's breaking up to the buy zone here, up close to 7%. Tile, floor coverings for commercial, institutional, and residential markets. Broken up here and moved into the sell zone. And now it's taken off again, close to 8% up. Velocity Financial is taking off, up 8%. And finally, Argentine company engaged in domestic upstream and downstream operations in crude oil. It's moving up with the price of oil moving up. So let's see what's up. 10% on 200% increase in volume. We just got two of those. And we saw both of those in the previous screen. So let's keep things rolling here. I got a little screen of some things I want to take a look at. So first, let's take a look at AMD. It's getting support at the 20-day moving average. Pulled back over here, and we put on a spread trade. 190 to 200. Here we got ARM getting support at the 20-day as well. Sold off on Friday, went down to 127. It's up near 130. Take a look at NVIDIA. They got that AI show going on. It's up slightly, up 0.9%, $7, $8. Qualcomm kind of riding right near that 10-day moving average. ACM Research bouncing off the 20-day, up a little over 5% today. Got this pretty strong move up here. Similar to a high tight flag, this is a buyable gap up. And as long as it holds the bottom of the gap, safe to continue to hold. Square. Gapped up here. Then we had bought some options over here. And on the undercut of, we sold it. And then right over here, we got back into it. So we'll continue to watch this one closely. Paymentus had a strong move, got into the sell zone, and is now pulling back. See if it gets supported by the 10-day moving average. Recent IPO in 2020. Dutch Brothers Coffee had a strong move here. Their earnings started to propel the change in direction of this trend. As you can see, it's down. Big cup with handle here formation. And the handle pulls it back a little deeper than generally would like, but here we got a little bit of movement here, pulls back a little bit. Earnings is propelling it forward, and looks pretty interesting right there. Got a lot of blue buying in there, although it doesn't have the ants yet, but here's a restaurant we tried out for the first time. Kura Sushi is okay. The revolving sushi, just pick and add to your table. So it's come quite a ways. Started around 22, actually even lower. 1821 where it had its first breakout. Look at this trend. And then we had a double bottom base here, breaks out of that. Then we have some consolidation. And on this day, it broke out of that. It's just been kind of bouncing around. Had a pullback over here, and now it's back to 100. Just take a look at their earnings. It's supposed to be up 156% in 2024 and 109% following year. So that's quite a bit of growth. And First Watch Restaurant broke out here, pulled back to 1812, and then broke out again. And your trend is your friend till it ends. I'm just looking at a number of restaurants here. Shake Shack came into the buy area, pulled back a little bit, bopped and weaved, and then a huge gap up on their earnings. Their earnings were up 133%. Earnings are increasing 85% this year and 36% the following year. and we'll just see if it can remain above this viable gap up area. Arlo Technologies. And big move up here. Got a pullback, but it maintained this gap up here. And it just keeps going on. Security cameras and cloud-based platform for connected devices. Axon. This is a former company that went under the name of Taser. Big move up on their earnings, up 60%. Warren Buffett has a big position in this one in his fund, and looks like it's trading pretty well. Coin, it's going to bounce around with Bitcoin, the Bitcoin levels. Got a little bit of a pullback on Thursday, bounce on Friday, and pulling back slightly today. Comfort Systems had a gap up here on earnings, up 66%, and the trend just continues. A little pullback to 300 area, and it is bouncing. Assurant in the property casual area. Big strong trend here. Just kind of moving on up. FTA Aviation. Got a pretty strong trend going. Broke her out at 38.08. And look where it's gone. 38.08 to 60. So now we're going to look at some of our ETFs. You can see big move up here on oil. Took profit on a couple of we had converted the calls into shares, so we took some profit on that today into strength. So we can take a look at the oil pricing. It's kind of bouncing, moving on up. Financials kind of holding steady. Energy is going to be up. Actually pulled back here. Pretty interesting. And XLC going to be up. We got a gap up with both Meta and Google bouncing. So XBI, or pull back to the 50-day. IBB as well, SMH. Got a little bit of a bounce, but it's kind of on the low for the day. Infrastructure holding up there. And I want to take a look at real estate on that news where they're no longer going to be holding to the 6% real estate sale. Big lawsuit with the National Association of Realtors. There's utilities, technology, up slightly. See if we got any recovery in software. Software, it looks like it's bouncing above its 50-day moving average. And metals and mining is down on the strength of the dollar. Jets pulled back, but is bouncing off the 50-day moving average. Home builders pulling back on the bond yields moving, and building materials pulling back slightly. So let's look at our ETFs, and let's take a look at the oil and gas area. Frontline is bouncing a little bit off the 20-day moving average. ExxonMobil is moving on up. Tidewater remains strong. Their earnings came in at 133%. TRMD pulled back to got a triangulation at the 3 moving levels here. We'll see if this will bounce. A little bit of a pullback in TK. This is tech, had a really big move last week, and people taking a little bit of profits here. Take a look at it on the weekly. Not doing too bad. Ireland, a provider of third-party mobile e-commerce platform, got a gap up today. It's near its high, still below its 50-day moving average, but there is a lot of buying volume over here. This is a former big leader out of Singapore. We've got a lot of institutional ants buying here, but sometimes they buy at the top, so you really need to do your due diligence. And I'll look at a couple more. Haven't talked about this one for a long time. This is in the software. Not sure if this is still public company. It may have been taken private. AROC, it's just kind of bouncing and consolidating. 1952 is the buy area. Quanta Services continues up strong. Broke out here. It's a little bit stretched right now. We did take some profits in Toast today. On this pullback to the 20-day moving average, we had 1,000 shares, so we took off 500 of those. Take a look at these 2 transportation companies. Uber bouncing, had a little bit of a pullback here. Lyft, really like this pattern. It resembles a high tide flag. Pull back to the 1539 area, bounce back, and pull back under 17 is getting close to 18 again. DNN, we had added this at, I believe it was 194. It did have a little bit of a pullback, of course, right after we put it on. But the 12-month target is I believe around 350, analysts are saying. Earnings came in at a 393% increase. Was a surprise to the analysts. 788% earnings surprise. So it's pretty good, much going to follow Cameco over here, which was up close to 2% today. Here is some of the other uranium plays. Take a look at what agriculture is doing. Got a little bit of a bounce in NTR today. CF Industrial Holdings really bouncing off of its 10-day moving average right here. And that will wrap it up for today. This has been Monday's edition of Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence, see what kind of investment is right for you. If you have any questions about your financial goals, please feel free to send us a comment. And Mornings with Michael will be back on Taco Tuesday. Hope everybody has a great start to their week. Hey, have a great week and go out there and surprise somebody with how your skills and how your goals and activities bring you to reach those goals. So thanks again. Everybody have a great week.